All right, so welcome to a video that is going to kind of run down some real basics on playing Warmachine. I'm certainly not an expert. I do have him at 60 Cosmic. I've been playing him a little bit now, and I can get a lot better at him. Don't get me wrong. This is not a video that shows top play, but there are a lot of people who kind of like blow through characters on this game because there's so many of them. So if you are playing Warmachine and you're kind of confused about why your numbers aren't the way that you want them to be, or you kind of just want to get the best and the most out of him, or maybe you're thinking about making him one of your main characters, hopefully this video will help. Um, I play a ranged Warmachine. I'm going to bring up the power screen right now. Just real quick, one of the big differences in the build that I use versus what I see more commonly is I low point Hammer of War. That'll go up to 5 once I actually go through Limbo with Warmachine. And I put all my points into Build for War for the defensive bonuses with In Case of War as my specialty for the heat generation. I do that because I do a lot of uh, Cosmic Midtown. So I find that is a good mix between survivability and DPS for the character. So I'm pretty happy with that. If I really felt like I needed the DPS, I could switch those points around and make Hammer of War a 20 pointer. But honestly, it's not something that I find is necessary for what I do in the game, which again primarily is a lot of Cosmic Midtown, Cosmic Rushing, and Ray, like green and red Muspelheim here and there, and occasionally Axis, which I actually haven't taken Warmachine to yet. So in general, I feel like my DPS is okay. I'd rather have the survivability as far as Midtown goes because dead DPS is no DPS, and of course in Midtown, if you die, you may not be getting loot. So really important that you stay alive there. Anyway, I just want to go over real quick kind of how you want to play Warmachine. There are 2 toggles that he has. You'll see that they're on here. Star Tech upgrades gives you bonus damage. When it's toggled on, we'll talk about. Gives you bonus damage and it increases the cost of all your powers. Don't worry about that. We'll get to that in a second. And Fire when ready. This is one of your specialization abilities that you can use. I have it specialized to grant the extra missiles because that's definitely the best option as far as damage goes. Now, for my rotation, when I'm not doing anything else, Total War will be going on, but primarily I'm going to open with Clear the Room, which is going to load anti-tank rounds into my gun. I'm going to try and get rid of those as fast as possible because what I actually want to do is keep plasma rounds up 100% of the time. That increases damage of my machine gun powers by 15%. We want that up all of the time, okay? So you can see like Total War, for example, is machine gun, and we're using that quite a bit. Once our heat gets to maximum, and I'm going to show you why on our slot 3, we're going to use Spitfire, and that loads thermite rounds, which makes people burn rather than having the plasma rounds on it. So again, we want to be timing all of this so that we're kind of keeping plasma rounds up as much as we can. We're going to use the signature anytime it's up. As soon as it's up, no matter what you're doing, drop everything else and use the signature. This is by far your best damaging ability, and there's nothing that you can do, even keeping up plasma rounds, even letting off a full heat Spitfire, that is going to make up for the seconds you're losing on this signature. Use this signature immediately when it's up, okay? The only thing I would say as a caveat to that is when you open, I would open with all of your damaging abilities and then the signature, but as you progress through the fight, you want to use the signature as much as you possibly can, as often as you possibly can. His ultimate is lackluster. I'm going to show it here just so you guys can see what it is, but it seems to be kind of hit or miss for me. Honestly, his signature makes up for it, though. It's super great. As you can see, I actually have the ultimate at 20, and primarily that's because I like the signature so much. Real quick, I do want to show you the slot 3 just so you know what's going on there. So my slot 3 is not as great as it can be, but when I overheat, which means my heat bar gets to full and it has the kind of heated background there, I get an extra 3.6 bonus damage versus bosses for 10 seconds. So I want to keep that up, obviously, as long as I possibly can. And you can kind of see what I'm using there. I've got kind of a junk limbo ring. And again, the M-Cran Crystal, kind of split between this and some others as far as what might be the best option here. M-Cran has been working pretty well for me. And yeah, I'll get to you in a second, Warmachine. It's been working well for me, and I already had an 80 M-Cran on a character I wasn't playing anymore, so I was able to take that without having to spend any Odin marks. So that's what I'm using right now. If it turns out through testing that some other stuff is better, then I'll go that route. So I'm just going to go on the high health dummy here and show you the rotation just a couple times, just so you can kind of see what it is. One thing I just want to stress again is I am not the best Warmachine player. I'm not the best player. So hopefully this will help you out, but don't expect this to be brilliant. And one last thing is Warmachine is very, very specific about these cooldown timers. So the rotation is very, very tight. So you're gonna see me mess up. I'm sure you're gonna mess up. I'm sure that's fine. You just got to do your best. It's not a huge deal. So without any further ado, here's what what it looks like. Now, I like to wait on Hammer of War until after I shoot because it'll interrupt your total war, and it leads to heat loss. It's not great. So we get to our second one, and again, we're just going right for the signature there. So I'm going to show you the ultimate now. I think you've seen a couple rotations here to understand what we're trying to do. Let me give you one more rotation, and I'll step you through it. All right, so clear the room, plasma cannon. Hammer of War I usually do first, but I didn't do it this time. We're going to use our suit recover, and then just our heat shock, and that's it. The key is you don't want to ever be in a place like this, where you've got full heat, and you don't have any buff up or anything like that. One other thing about Built for War is it actually is going to cause your Spitfire to automatically be a critical effect. So just keep that in mind. And again, we just want to keep on going here. This is what it would look like if our signature was down. But again, like I said, if the signature's up, use the signature always and every time, etc. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and show you the ultimate here. Again, not that amazing, but we'll blow up in his face, and you can see it's at about 21 million on Brood. So certainly could be better. My gear could be better. That's pretty much what it is. And you can see the heat loss there because I used Hammer Port for a long time. So let me give you one more perfect run here. You can kind of see what we're doing. Now it's really important that you can hit your your StarTech upgrades. I'm sorry, your Built for War as quick as you want to. Just make sure that you have the buff on when you get to full heat, so that when you drop that, you get your automatic crit. So if you have any questions, by all means, send me a message. Saibowen, SAIBOWEN, and go Maps.